Now we move to the Measure S Facilities Project Construction Company presentation interview. Superintendent Escalante.
Thank you very much. Well, we are very excited tonight to have representatives from Erickson Hall to come and to present to the board information about their firm, construction firm, and to answer questions from the board so that we can have an opportunity to get to know them. Come on up. I hope do we have enough seats?
I don't think we do.
This is like ballpark seating. So maybe while they're getting settled over there, I can just give you a little bit of background about, this is not an action item. This is an item where the board is having an opportunity to gather new information, to meet the team, and I, like you, have not met with them or heard them before, so I'm really looking forward to it myself. As a result of the passage of the Measure S Facilities Bond Program in 2016, the district's taken steps towards creating Measure S Facilities Program Team. Selection of an architectural firm and construction firm is one step in the process, and Bob Simon's here from the SVA, so it's really good to see you, Bob, and we've had tremendous relationship and partnership with them in our process as our architects. And as I just mentioned, they were selected in 2016 along with the construction management firm Bernard's. Bernard's provided the district with pre-construction services for the Measure S Facilities Program. On January 9th, the board approved a request for proposals for construction firms for the Measure S Facilities Program. This RFP specified that the delivery method for the Measure S projects will be a lease-back delivery method. On January 23rd, there was a mandatory job walk that was held for construction firms to see the 3 Measure S projects, North, View, and Valley Schools. The district received 4 RFPs from, completed RFPs from construction firms. On March 14th, the district held interviews with 4 construction firms, Erickson Hall, Balfour Beatty, CW Driver, and Plyco. On the interview panel were Paula Montalvo, business manager, Angela Jones, former business manager, now consultant, Terry Tao, who is our attorney, Justin Massey, who is a Hermosa Beach City Council member, Michael Bishop, who is the owner-controlled insurance program for Alliance of Schools for Cooperative Insurance Programs, rep, and Nancy Bartolo, that's easy to say, Nancy, who is our owner's rep. And 2 construction firms were selected by the panel to move forward to present to the board, Balfour Beatty and Erickson Hall. On March 28th, 2019, the district received notification from Balfour Beatty that they were withdrawing their application due to company timing conflicts with the district's process and timeline. Erickson Hall has been selected to move forward and to present tonight to the board. Time will be provided for each member of the board to ask a question of the firm, and then public comment will be open and available to anyone who would like to partake in that opportunity. A recommendation to select the construction firm will be presented for approval at the May 8 regularly scheduled board meeting. So tonight, the Erickson Hall firm has been invited to give a 10-minute presentation. So we're kind of timekeepers, so we're going to watch the clock. And then the board has looked at a menu of different questions, and they've selected a question that's of interest to them, and they will ask those questions as well. And then at the conclusion of that, if they have any follow-up questions, or if there's something that they want to, it'll be up to the board president to determine what those next steps are. So we thank you for being here. And Michelle, are you going to keep the time? Mm-hmm. Are you on it?
I'm on it.
Okay. So welcome, and you can go ahead and get started.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Dave Erickson. I'm one of the founding partners at Erickson Hall. And Erickson Hall is a company that, well, we are a school builder. We've been in business for 20 years. We celebrated our 20-year anniversary last August. We have 150 employees. We are an employee-owned company. The employees own, at this point, 49% of the company. And we're excited to move that in and let them participate in the ownership as we go forward. We do about $200 million worth of school construction Our main office is in Escondido, California, which is north San Diego County, although we have an office we've had for years in Orange. We're in the process of moving that to Garden Grove. We have an office in Riverside and a small office out in the Imperial Valley. Like I said, about what we do is build schools. About 80% of our work is schools, and then we also have a essential services niche where we're building fire and police stations. We actually were just selected to do the Huntington Beach police station remodel just recently. We're starting on that. There's a long list of projects that we've done in this area. I think you've checked our references. We like doing what we do. We compete against national and international firms, and we like being owners and involved in the school process. It's a fun project. We are excited about being here, and I'm going to turn it over to Matt, who is our project executive vice president, and his team will take this.
So we've got a few projects that mimic the main building on the first campus, two-story, a lot of glass. This was at Granite Hills at Grossmont Union High School District. This is a San Diego Academy. This is an SVA building. We looked at the projects as we submitted our response to the RFP, and our experience with SVA and how they put their plans together made an attractive program. This is Carlsbad High School, a performing arts center. And again, I'm Matt Gates, Vice President, Erickson Hall. I manage all the pre-construction and construction work for the Orange and Los Angeles County projects that we're doing. I'd be the key point of contact for contractual issues and things like that. I've brought the team that's going to build your project. Anthony Hahn, project manager. Isabel Cortez is the project engineer. She'll be in charge of all document control. And then Richard Moore is the superintendent on the job. He'll be in charge of safety, subcontractor coordination, and schedule. Your project's complex. There's a lot of things going on with it. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to focus on just a couple things. The site is tight with, you've got neighbors immediately adjacent to property lines. What we want to do is focus on our pre-construction services. We want to model the buildings, bring our subcontractors in early, start early procurement, start early prefabrication of the system components, and also interface with the utilities and the regulatory agencies that are involved with the interaction out into the street and bringing utilities into the campus. Additionally, because of the neighbors being as close as we are, we want to have outreach with all the stakeholders. We want to be open communication to where we can notify them as things are happening, and also reach out for local contractors. So we've got a site utilization plan. Key, again, you have neighbors that are immediately adjacent to the property line. We want to isolate the site. We want to implement a good neighbor policy, minimize noise and dust, utilize smaller equipment, and notify stakeholders prior to some of the work is going to be loud. And we want to make sure that we've got that communication out early so everyone can plan for it. And then again, ensure public safety. And that's kind of a blow up of the North School utilization plan. Put together a schedule based on the RFP. Our understanding is we've got some issues with some permitting agencies, but we can modify that schedule as we move forward in a collaborative process with the district. And then the next phase of the work would be Hermosa View Elementary. Again, you have a large amount of work happening right on the front doorstep, immediately adjacent public walkways, right-of-ways. We want to implement the good neighbor policies again, isolate the site, coordinate with the city as well as the neighbors in terms of trucking routes, demolition work, things like that as we're moving forward. We'll utilize the side and the back area for laydown areas to where we're farther away from the general public. And again, we want to ensure public safety as we're moving through this project. Again, that's our utilization plan. You'll notice our trailers are out front. We want to control the site, access to the site to where only the construction people are coming in, the construction traffic. And having our presence in our office right there, we can manage those openings and make sure gates are closed. And again, be a good neighbor. And again, with the permitting agency on the first campus, possibly delaying the start, again, we'd work with the district as what their needs are in terms of start dates, time to move the operations to the other campus, and just coordinate that as we move forward. All right. And with that, this is the team that's going to build the project. Sorry, I had a coffee this afternoon, so I'm ready to go.
Where's our coffee?
So with that, any questions?
Very good. Terrific. Maybe the rest of the team could just quickly introduce themselves,
There you go.
and then we can move on to the questions. Don't mean to put you on the spot. But
My name's Richard Moore. I'm your superintendent. I've been in construction since 1980, and I've been a project superintendent since the year 2000.
My name is Isabel Cortez. I'll be your project engineer. I've been in the construction industry for over 15 years, and most of those were K through 12 schools.
thank you.
My name is Anthony Hahn. I'll be your project manager. I've been at Erickson Hall for the past 7 years. Overall, 15 years in construction, mostly in K-12 construction. As a project manager, my main goal is to ensure that all your projects are on time and on budget.
Terrific. Thank you.
My name is Mike Hall. I'm the other half of Erickson Hall.
Thank you. Welcome. As the superintendent mentioned, each of the 5 board members has a question that we've selected that are of interest to us, and so we're just going to go down the line with the questions. Jen, are you up for starting us off?
Jen? Jen,
Sorry, yes, I'm here.
we're going to start off with your question.
Okay, one sec. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm taking number 7 here, where it says, describe how you approach the role of being a liaison or representative for the project with the city, neighbors, and other community groups. In your view, what are the most valuable elements that you implement on each project to create a productive work environment that minimizes impact to the neighborhood? And I know you just went over a couple of those. It was really hard for me to hear them, but I'm sure you have some others up your sleeve.
So the principal liaison for the project and the outreach.
I guess to answer the question is, I'll be the primary point of contact to deal with the issues. I think the main thing that we can do is properly communicate with the district as well as other concerned residents in terms of having an open communication to kind of relay what we're trying to object or trying to achieve, just keep them in the loop.
Communication's the key. We're going to utilize 3-week look-ahead schedules. We also produce a weekly report that we generate for the district. You can put it on your website. It's a simple report that we do every week. It's got a couple pictures. It tells you what activities we did this week, what activities we're doing next week, and then when our meeting time is. And as things come up, that gives the public as well as any other interested stakeholders the ability to reach out to the district representatives and bring those issues to those meetings where we can work through them. And again, if something's coming up, a parade, something, we can work with the district as well as the other stakeholders to redo work activities, realign deliveries, and try and be as receptive as possible to the stakeholder concerns.
Thank you. Monique?
Okay, so I think, Richard, you might be the person to answer this question. I'd like to know your approach to safety, hazardous waste, and environmental management laws and regulations, specifically when private residential properties are located on the property line of the project. Am I right that Richard's my guy? Anybody can answer the question.
Well, as far as the hazardous waste, we hire a outside agency that is licensed and insured to properly handle those substances and dispose of them, and to create a paper trail and copy everybody off on that. So there is a notification that goes along. We have to notify OSHA and the environmental impact or side, but we have to notify specific agencies, and so I mean it's all done per plan and per the prepared document or I'm sorry.
So the district's hired an environmental consultant that's put together a hazardous survey that will reach out to our subcontractors, and we'll do a job walks and meet with the environmental consultant. We'll follow all the rules and regulations associated, including the 10-day notification for Air Quality Board. We'll create a pre-construction meeting with the AQMD as well as the environmental consultant and the district, and go through all the regulations and work plan that's approved by the consultant prior to us starting any work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Maggie?
Good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if this is a question directed to, I don't know who this is directed to, but could you explain the pre-construction process that your firm uses based on the scope of the project and the competitive pricing?
Competitive pricing. We'll reach out to our subcontracting database, our estimating department. We'll also do a notification in a public newspaper and make sure that it's publicly notified. We'll do a job walk with interested subcontractors and then follow up with outreach to all of the contractors. In the event there's new subcontractors that are not part of our database, we'll talk to them and educate them about skilled and trained workforce requirements, prevailing wage, bonds, insurances, and the work required, the paperwork and the backgrounds that you need to have to do K-12 work. So usually these job walks and these outreaches, we usually get a few new contractors and we walk them through the process as to what's required. As we move through the pre-con, through design milestones, our estimating department as well as our subcontractors will put budget pricing together, and we'll bring that to the district as we're giving potential value engineering options or budgeting options, making sure that the district has the ability to make decisions prior to issuing a contract to us. As we go into the final design phase and it's permitted out, we'll do best and final prices with our subcontractors. We'll bring all the bids in and show you the bids. Sometimes districts have a contractor they've done business with in the past that they want to continue to do business. Sometimes there's a local contractor that they want to give an opportunity to. We bring all of those bids to the district to where you can help us and work with us as we make decisions to award the contracts. Additionally, we do a pre-qualification of all our subcontracts, much like we had to pre-qualify in order to submit the RFP. So those are the steps that we go through. It's somewhat laborious, but we want to be fair and reasonable, and we want to make sure that we're giving you the best value for the job.
One thing that Matt didn't talk about there, and we could have brought more people here. There were only 6 chairs, so we just brought this group. But we also have a team of estimators and a BIM manager, which is a building information modeling process. And so they will be involved on the front end. And we go through a constructability review. So we know you hired a great architect who provides a great set of plans, but we're going to scrub through them and try and see what kind of questions we can ask and get answered before we have people out there on the ground working. All of that working collaboratively, which we've done on other projects with them, allows us to be more efficient on the site. So that BIM process allows us to make sure that we're actually modeling the thing in 3D. So all the steel fits and that all works. And it makes the project more efficient. And that happens through our estimating department, through our BIM department. And as Matt was talking about, we definitely competitively bid all the subtrades, which I think was another key part of the question.
Thank you, Maggie. Stephen?
Thank you. My question is, value engineering is exceptionally important for the Measure S program. In your experience, what trends have you seen that identify areas conducive to value engineering? And please provide some examples. And I'm going to throw this to Isabel. To start with. No? Throw it the other way? Okay. I just guessed because of the title. Sounded like your title should be. Okay.
No,
that side of the table, please.
Okay. Well, I'll be working with Isabel to identify. A lot of our value engineering comes during the bidding process, where we rely on our subcontractor who are experts in the field. They know the pricing better than we would for their specific trade. So a lot of the times during the bidding process, they would suggest ideas where you have one product, like let's say weatherproofing is a common idea. Like most common is a Tyvek. It's commonly used everywhere. It's a more premium brand. It serves the purpose of providing weatherproofing for the exterior skin of the building. But that costs a lot more than something equivalent like your standard, black weatherproofing paper. So it kind of goes both ways, where you have one which still serves the same function, but it's a little better premium brand, but the cost is a lot more. So they usually bring those to the table when they identify, here's the cost for the specified Tyvek brand, but if you go with an equal 2 layers of 15 or 30 pound black paper, you'll save 10,000. So those are things that come up during the bid process to identify, or a lot of times it's in the specifications they provide equals. You have one specified brand, you can provide an equal at a lower cost and a savings to the district. So a lot of it comes during the bidding process, and it would be my responsibility to work with the estimator and with the architect to kind of pick out which ones and start that conversation, which is, to the architect, are you good with using this? It'll save the district, X amount of dollars. So I think value engineering starts at the beginning, because we want to identify the costs up front versus later, where we're knee deep and trying to save money, but by then we've already gone a long ways, where you're sacrificing more time by trying to think creatively. I guess this was the word.
Yeah,
so.
Specifically for this project, in our interview, as we went through and looked through the specifications and the plans, there were references to lead paperwork through various trades. And my question to the panel was, the district's not going to go through the full step of submitting to lead and paying that additional money. You could just relieve those spec sections, those areas in the specs, get the same product and not pay the extra money for it. You're not reducing square footage, you're still getting a great product, but you're not going through all that additional paperwork and effort, and you're saving quite a few dollars.
Thank you. My question is, and we've touched on this a little bit in the presentation and in Jen's question, but transparency is important to the district, city, and community. what web-based tools do you use on your projects to provide virtual access, live streaming to the daily work on the project, as well as other tools that would allow the public to directly see without being the district being the intermediary to what is going on with the project, both scheduling wise and actual construction activities?
I mean, in our past, because typically with live streaming, we kind of frown upon that because the community can kind of see the areas, see where things are hiding, which kind of opens up for theft. But it kind of it depends on job to job, where you don't want to see everything going on, where everything is, and have someone. But we usually, in the past, we usually work with the district when they have their own website. I know when I did Santa Monica, Malibu Unified, they had their own measure, for them I think it was Measure E, but they had their own website dedicated to that. Yeah,
we have that as well.
And they posted photos. So we're transparent. As Matt mentioned during the presentation, we provide weekly reports. It's just a quick summary for that week, a couple photos. So it's something that we can provide to the board members or to other school facilities, and they can utilize that and post it on the Hermosa Beach.
At Granite Hills High School, the Building 200, that was part of the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
We had a camera full-time on one area of the project to where you couldn't see the plumber's bin or bin full of copper or anything like that. And we had it fixed, and there was a website that you could go to and look at it. We've done that in the past. We've utilized it primarily for security, but it is open, and we could open that up to the public. Additionally, we have partners through Long Beach Unified School District that are drone experts, and they fly our sites and provide us with the film that we can upload to a SharePoint or something like that, and notify people as we're putting that up and showing the dates. So we've done both kind of things, a fixed as well as a drone type system.
Great, thank you. Are there any further clarifications requested by any of the board members? Steven, good? Are you good? Monique, good? Jen?
No, I'm good.
Okay, terrific. Well, I want to thank you all for coming, giving the presentation tonight, for responding to our RFP, first and foremost, coming for the interview panel and going through the process with us. I think, unless anybody disagrees, the board direction would be to continue the process with Erickson Hall and to begin the negotiation of a contract and things like that to bring for a recommendation to the board in May. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.